Let's talk about this here. What you are seeing is the issue with government being in control of certain things. Well, I would say all things, but just keep it unique to the situation. And often, sometimes it's government induced. A crisis comes along, and in said crisis, it exposes a lot of issues. It is that is with, let's say, a government program or something it is that the government does. You don't see it surface level. Oftentimes, you think at surface level, it's a good thing for them to be in control of it until it hits the fan and you realize that, well, wait a minute, this one thing ended up happening and it exposed it for the fraud that it actually is. And COVID, as an example, has, for you guys, not me, I've been on this train, but for a lot of you, you see that the issue of government maintaining control, especially for what you deem as humanitarian efforts, comes with its sets of problems because it's a pay to play situation. Nothing that the government is in control of comes without a price. It doesn't. No matter if they deem it as free, no matter if they deem it as a humanitarian effort, they're trying to help people. They're trying to save lives. Almost everything the government does is that, where the people that have advocated for it, for them to be in control of that, it's because of humanitarian reasons. And because if they didn't control it, well, the sky would be fucking falling. Here's an example of this. And I said this was going to happen. They're going to try to tie vaccine stuff to things that they can individually control, which is unfortunately a lot. Things that shouldn't be in their control. So what happens is someone that's like in the individual, complete private sector, right? They don't get grants from the government. They're not protected by them, really. They're out left to fend for themselves. That industry, those amount of industries start to dwindle and dwindle down even more. But you get what I'm saying. Those guys are going to have a less problem than the people who are subsidized by the government in some way, shape, or form, because what happens? It's what we're seeing right here, and I'll read the headline. It says some people who refuse to get vaccinated may not be eligible to receive unemployment benefits. Now, of course, if it was up to me, these damn things wouldn't exist. Not to be controlled by government. One thing, private institutions, charities, churches, whatever, they have some sort of pool where you're allowed to dip into. Those would be far more efficient if that were the case. But hey, you humanitarians out there think that the government should be, it's just to help these people out. It's not going to be abused or anything. We didn't see that this past year at all. Unemployment benefits, if anything, you should see how crooked the shit is, because you've seen that they've even been able to leverage that and derail an economy in the process because, well, they're paying more people on unemployment benefits than the work, so people can't find workers. You got states that have had to cut it off with the federal benefits because of exactly that. Like, well, we're having an issue. People aren't working, so because they're making more money or maybe slightly under, but hell, they don't have to work 40 hours a week to make whatever amount of money that is. Of course, they're going to take that. You've incentivized that. But with this, like other government subsidies, they're going to tie the vaccine to it. They're going to tie you getting the vaccinations to that. So you're not going to be eligible for, hey, you want this money, you want this grant, you want this favor, then you need to get the jab. And this is, again, I'm reading this from the Blaze. Individuals who refuse to be vaccinated against the coronavirus may not be eligible to receive unemployment benefits. What are the deals? Mia Salinetri from KHOU says that, generally speaking, people fired for refusing required vaccines, including the new COVID-19 vaccines, can be denied unemployment. Some who refuse the shots may be looking forward to the support of the unemployment benefits while they look for a new job that doesn't require vaccines. But for many of them, that might not be an option. Major corporations like Disney and Walmart say they will require COVID-19 vaccines for some employees. In general, those fired for refusing can't get unemployment. According to representatives at the Seltzer law firm, the employment law in most areas of the country, if you are fired for breaking company policy, in the cases of Disney, Walmart, Google, and more, for refusing to provide proof of required vaccines, you are not eligible for unemployment payments. So this is what I'm saying is a way that they're going to incentivize, and some people are going to fold because it's like, okay, yeah, you wanted these little unemployment benefits. You're not eligible for those. These whole things that are supposed to be there to just help this single mother of three get by as she's between jobs, as they say. That's what unemployment for. Well, that rests upon whether or not you want a fucking jab. Now, the idea here is to make sure that you get the jab so you can avoid the situation. It's coercion. But this is always the problem with the things that they can control. Because again, it's a lot more difficult for them to do this for really anything else that they're not connected to directly. Though, yes, I get it. The government's hand is massive. It reaches far and wide, or rather the arm is extended like Stretch Armstrong. It extends far and wide. Mr. Fantastic. It extends far and wide, and it's like in every other industry. But the ones where it's in it the most, these guys get government contracts. That's who they're going to get. And this is why I think that folks that are more favor of the state want them to maintain control that they have and want them to have more control because it allows them to do exactly what it is that they're doing. They're far more powerful when they can coerce people. Well, the government itself is based upon that. The state itself is based upon that. But when they can say, okay, you want this money? Dance, monkey. We're going to require you to do this. Otherwise, you don't get it. And this has always been the problem with them being involved in so many institutions, because those are the ones they're going to be able to pull it off the most. Like I've said, guys, these mandates or this sort of requirement for you to be vaccinated was not going to come by way of a direct mandate, meaning that it's illegal for you to be unvaccinated. That was never on the table. What was going to happen was that they were going to use coercive and extortive measures to do that, methods to do that. That's what we have here. Often when we talk about government, you can't see, a lot of statists just can't see anything that's beyond their eyes. So they always are in it for the now. They can't see where this could become a problem down the line because they think that it's the government's job to play mommy and daddy, not seeming to understand that this could hit the fan, but they don't care for that. They like, oh, we'll deal with that problem when we get around to doing it. All of what you've seen over the last year, especially with the American government, not just the federal one, but their involvement in so many different things where they can do shit like, I don't know, shut you down for not wearing masks or not requiring your patrons to wear a mask. They can do all of that because this is power that you've given to them because you thought that it was their job to protect you. That's what you thought. Now, you were wrong. You were always wrong. But you would have been able to see that if you were able to look beyond what was directly in front of you. And that's often what you have to do. Sometimes you can't see it. They'll name certain bills and laws with, hey, it's the Protect the Americans Act. And then if you are in opposition to them or that, you want Americans to die. You don't want them to have any protection. And then what we get is like what we have right now. And the government having so much control, so much reach in so many different industries that they could basically orchestrate what they've orchestrated in the last year and some change. You have to learn. This is what I'm trying to teach these damn statists. Learn to look at what's beyond what your eyes can see. Only then when you get it. You just watched a clip from our podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.